Hi, Marion.
I welcome everyone to Coffee Talk. I am admitting people as we go along, but I'm very excited to introduce once again Jessica Wallace. Jessica has presented for us once before at Coffee Talk, um, and she brings with her Dawn Lang, and we're always so excited to see our students. So hi, Dawn, how are you? Jessica is the project coordinator, for anybody who does not know, for our Department of Justice Molloy Violence Prevention Grant. So she has been at Molloy for about a year and a half now, and she will fill you in on the importance of some of the work they've been doing, the work that the MVP students have been doing. So I turn this over to you, Dawn. Good morning. I'm sorry, good Dawn and Jessica. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Kathy. And thank you, and Kathy and Marion. And actually, we have quite a few members of our CCRT here today who are also working on the grant and have been for, about like 2 years now. So thank you both to the work that you, or all of you rather, Kathy, Carl, and Marion, and Jackie too also helps out a lot. So appreciate everything that you all do. So yes, I'm the project coordinator for the Department of Justice grant that Molloy received. And one of the initiatives that we've created from the grant is called MVP, or Molloy Violence Prevention. So this focuses on different prevention programming, workshops, trainings. You might have seen some things on, just recently we had the Teal Talk discussion series where we discussed different topics related to gender-based violence. We've done some programmings back in January. We did a training on stalking. So lots of different things. And one of our newer programs that we're trying to get off and running is the MVP Ambassador Program. So Dawn was one of our first ambassadors. We had 6 this past semester, and they have been trained in a program called Bringing in the Bystander, which is an evidence-based curriculum that is focused on encouraging our community, particularly students, but also employees and all members of our campus community, to be active bystanders. And maybe Dawn can talk a little bit about what that means too and her experience with the program. We didn't get to facilitate it this semester, although we did have some programs scheduled, particularly with the St. Thomas Aquinas program. So now for the fall, right now we're planning and we're selecting our ambassadors for next year. And we're looking to start thinking about where we want to have them present this program, or even other relevant topics too. So they're all students who are going to be trained in facilitation and education skills and in gender-based topics related to gender-based violence. So if, Dawn, if you want to speak maybe a little bit about what drew you to the program, your experience with the program, and kind of anything else that you wanted to highlight for people.
Thank you, Jessica. So I'm a graduate student at Molloy, and I'm currently in the clinical mental health counseling program, which I love. And I heard Jessica speak at the presence and also the topic. It was something that was very interesting to me because Jessica has a way of talking about very sensitive and hard to talk about subjects in a non-confrontational way, which I think is important because violence unfortunately exists anywhere, regardless of your age, your economic background, regardless of your experiences. Violence has occurred in our lives in some form or another, whether it's personal or something that we see unfortunately in the news. So that's something that I, as a future counselor, want to understand more about and get educated myself, but then also educate others. And the program was really great because it brought people together from different backgrounds and ages and stuff. And it was great learning about, even though I had some prior limited training, it was great learning about the pro-social behaviors that people can learn. Education is important, obviously, and people can learn that being a bystander is not necessarily a negative connotation. It doesn't mean that you have to put yourself in danger. So learning about it for myself, just in a personal way was great, but also being able to speak to, with this education-based presentation that we got for Title IX, being able to speak to it and understand it and learn and talk with students. We did have one, before the bystander thing. We had one session with students in the dorm, and we just had a regular conversation, kind of like this, like a coffee talk type thing, and it was really interesting. And what I learned from that one event, and which I think hopefully will happen in the future, is that once you engage students and get them talking about stuff like this in a non-confrontational, comforting way, it's really important because it's going to stay with them throughout their college life and then beyond. So I mean, it was unfortunate that we couldn't do a lot that we did, but I still learned so much. So I'm glad that the program is going to be continuing, and in light of all the Title IX changes that have come about recently, it's going to be even more important to educate everybody for themselves, you know, in the college life, for the faculty. So I really was honored to be a part of the program. So thank you very much, Jessica.
Thank you, Dawn. And I mean, I was honored to have you in the program. Dawn is a phenomenal presenter. She's a phenomenal student. She's so passionate about this topic. I mean, you're going to be an excellent counselor. So I'm so glad to still have you involved with our CCRT. So Dawn does so much work outside of even the program itself. But it really has been really excellent to get to talk with students about these issues, and all 6 of our ambassadors are so passionate, so interested in this program, so adaptable just as things develop throughout the semester and wanting to stick with it in whatever way that they could. So instead of presenting the program, the students ended up kind of helping to comment and provide feedback so that we can tailor it further to be the best fit it can for our campus population. So they looked at the scenarios in the program. The program gives you different scenarios that you might encounter as a bystander and how you might intervene. So the students were able to provide feedback on that, and also different aspects of the program too that will be just invaluable going forward. So it's an excellent program. If you do, you know, going forward, have any students that you're working with you think might be a good fit for it, definitely feel free to, you know, reach out to me, send them my way. Or if you're interested in bringing the students in to talk to either your class or a group that you work with or your department, it doesn't have to be just students, it could also be employees, definitely let me know, because we would love to get the students out there. And once you hear them speak about this topic, I think it's really powerful and really engaging. And the way that the workshop is set up, it's not meant to be so much of a lecture. It's pretty engaging and provides different activities as well. So definitely let me know. The program is about 2 hours long, but I think we're looking at kind of adapting it to in different ways. So really, you know, whatever would fit best, we're totally open to. And the other part of this, and with the MVP program and the CCRT, I just wanted to also share and kind of remind people too that some ways that you, since the program is all about being a bystander, how can you be involved? It's not just about when you see a harmful situation occurring, doing something at that time. It's also about preventing harm from occurring in the first place. So we're talking about primary prevention is what it's referred to. And one way that you can, you know, I think we can all participate in that just by having conversations, being involved, bringing this presentation to your area, again, before some sort of harm occurs, making sure that we're having open communication about these topics on campus, and also participating in the campus climate survey is a really great way. It's a very simple thing that you could do right now to provide input on some of our resources on campus, some of your experiences on campus working with students. That information is going to be really, really helpful for the CCRT going forward as you look at the types of programming that we need to provide to the campus community, any gaps in resources, any you know, people who are not getting the help that they need, or if you've worked with a student who maybe was hesitant to reach out for more help, all of that is really, really helpful. So the survey itself takes 15 minutes approximately. It's not too long. We tried to make it as, you know, painless as possible. You can go through it pretty quick, but the information is going to be really, really helpful. Just also keep in mind though, as you're taking it, and there's a lot of information on the email, it can potentially be triggering too. It does ask about experiences with gender-based violence, and particularly for employees about working with students, but you know, just keep that in mind as well. And in addition to taking the survey, another, you know, one step further you can do is being kind of, again, that active bystander is having a conversation then with a colleague. So maybe you've completed the survey. Maybe you want to send that out to your, department if you supervise anyone and say, hey, just wanted to give you a heads up, remember to take this. Or have a conversation with someone who you're close with, a friend, and say, oh, I took that survey, took me 15 minutes, very short, the information is going to be really helpful. Make sure you do it if you have a chance. Of course, it's completely voluntary. So if someone doesn't want to take it, that's completely fine. But we do just want to get the word out, because as of now, our response rate has been kind of low. And unfortunately, if it's not, if we're not getting the input from as many people as possible, the information is less helpful. So we want to really get input from as many people as possible. So that's just one easy way that you can get involved. But there's tons of more ways too. And, again, like I said, bringing this conversation to an area that you work with, anything like that. So definitely, if you're looking for more ways, feel free to reach out also. I know we're probably like almost at time, if not at time, but if anyone has any questions about the MVP program or the survey, anything regarding that, happy to answer them.
Jessica, Deanna was asking if you could, do you have the link available that you can throw into the chat here? So
For
that
the survey?
Yep.
So I don't have the link. The issue with the link is you have to do it through your email. So everyone should have received the email there's one for employees and one for students. So if you work with students, make sure that you're reminding them to check their email. I know it would be easier to just give out the link, but it prevents duplicate answers. So if you're working with students, say, just go back, check your email. You should have received it multiple times now. I believe it should come from ccrt@molloy.edu. I'll put that in the chat so they can search that way. And the same for employees. If you are an employee though, and you've received the email, you can likely forward it to other people that you work with. So I would recommend doing it that way. And again, just looking back, you could either search that email or campus climate survey, and you should be able to find it. But if you're not for any reason, feel free to reach out and I can help you.
Okay. So Jessica, when we record this coffee talk, I wanted to, I'll share it with the community, because obviously everybody's not on it and doesn't have this time available this time in the morning. But can I forward your email with that coffee talk link to say, if you want to know what this is about, listen to coffee talk, but also fill out the survey below? Can we do that?
Yeah, sure.
Just to employees. Yep.
Yeah, I think that would be fine.
Okay, good. Good.
You're good with that, Dawn? Perfect.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions for Jessica, or needs more information about the grant that you didn't know about, or because take advantage of both Dawn and Jessica at this point in time?
I just want to say thank you to Jessica just for all her work, because trying to put something like this together, I've worked at multiple institutions and I've never seen it as well organized and as well kind of like, you're talking about so many different people and so many different constituents and so many different just layers to it. And she's kept it organized. And I know I'm always running around, everybody's running around with their own day jobs at the same time. And it's always like, well, but we have to work on this. And I'm like, oh yes, we should work on this and we should put this together. So thank you to Jessica, obviously, and everybody for their work.
Yeah, I just want to add to that, because Jessica created this whole online Canvas thing for us because of the challenges with the COVID and not being in. So at first it was like, oh, I don't want to be a part of something that's so virtual or whatever, but she made it really, I learned a lot, and we were able to contribute and do back and forth and provide feedback for the training. So yeah, it was amazing.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, Carl. I mean, thank you so much for all the work that you do. Carl is a part of our prevention track. He does a lot with that and has really helped to facilitate some conversations about how we're looking to engage men going forward in this work. And Kathy has also done so much. Marion has done so much. Marion did a lot with the campus climate survey too, I want to highlight, in helping put it together and, pick the questions and adapt them for our campus. So we went off of the template that we had used. You might remember we had a campus climate survey 2 years ago that you probably had sent out. So we used that as a template, but Marion did a lot of work in really adapting that and making it more relevant for our campus. So thank you. Thank you all so much for all the work that you do. And Dawn, of course, and Jackie too. I always email Jackie about things and she's always helps too with the CCRT. So even adjacent. So I appreciate that. And if anyone's looking for more ways to get involved, there's plenty of work to go around. So feel free to let us know.
I think what's also really important about the survey is that it gives you an opportunity to review what Molloy's policies are in this area. And it's, you know, it's always good to refresh your memory as to what we have out there, because Lisa under Title IX has done a tremendous amount of work even before we had the MVP grant. So I think that it's a great way for employees to make sure they're aware of the college policies.
Yeah, and I would also add, because Dawn mentioned this as well, I don't know if anyone's paid attention to the new Title IX regulations that have come out. That's also something that, you know, is going to impact the college and particularly impact those survivors and people who experience gender-based violence. So as a CCRT right now, we're kind of talking about what those impacts might look like. You know, the Title IX piece is one of it, but also just our policies in general and filling in any gaps left by these new regulations and the changes, and also talking about how they intersect. We have state law that also plays a role in what services and policies we need to have, and then what is a college that we think is also important. So that's also a really pertinent conversation right now. So if you're interested in being a part of that or have any thoughts, I also would definitely encourage you to reach out, because this is a time where things will change with our policy.
And it kind of goes to show that all this is so fluid and changing, and that there's plenty of work to be done, because just when you think it's you get to a point, then something new happens, and it's adapt and readapt.
Exactly.
Well, that is our time for today. Thank you everyone for being with us today. I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. I hope to see you all, or get a glimpse of you all maybe tomorrow during the Farewell to Drew parade. But if not, I will talk to you next week, because Coffee Talk will be back on Tuesday next week. All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.